have something to talk about today. Today's Valentine's, and I have to share with you, I wore gray for Valentine's Day, and I was invited to a Valentine's luncheon today with other women. They wore appropriate colors, reds and pinks, and they looked adorable. And in I walk, wearing a gray sweater, because I didn't think about coordinating my outfit with the holiday that we were celebrating together. I just do that often. I don't know why. Except for St. Patrick's Day, I will wear green. So I guess if there's a punishment for not coordinating with the holiday, I'm going to wear the color I need to wear. But no, not me. Today I did not wear the right color. So I'm going to be talking about when people don't like boundaries and how that worries me. I have a couple of thoughts about that. What brought this to mind was I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I listened to a clip of a podcast that I don't listen to normally. It was an advertisement, and I heard the individual being interviewed share their dislike when other people set boundaries. The host of this podcast agreed, also sharing that they didn't like boundaries being set. And I just felt a little concerned inside of me when I heard that people actually don't like boundary setting. It's important to set boundaries in your life. It's important to know where this relationship begins and this relationship ends. Those things are healthy and they're very biblical. The Bible has boundaries within the Word of God. You can see it in different relationships. Jesus set boundaries. There's nothing wrong with boundary setting. I want to define what a boundary is before I get started. Did an internet search really fast, and CambridgeDictionary.com tells us that a boundary is the limit of what someone considers to be acceptable behavior. I like that definition. AustraliaCounseling.com.au shares that boundaries are limits and constraints we set to safeguard our emotional, physical, and mental well-being. I really like that definition a lot. It's really guarding your heart. That's why we set boundaries. Guarding your mental health, guarding your emotional health. That's what boundaries are for. Boundaries define what is acceptable and unacceptable in our relationship with others. We've got to clarify that for ourselves, especially if, you lived with a background where boundaries weren't always there, and so you have to learn how to set them as an adult. Boundaries are vital for healthy relationships, to build self-respect and self-esteem, and it is important for personal growth. Boundaries are a good thing. So when somebody says that they don't like boundaries, really, really does concern my heart. Either they've never been really hurt by other individuals in their lives, or they're the ones doing the hurting and they want permission to do so. And if other people are starting to set up boundaries, not allowing them to behave in a way that they're used to doing, that would make sense why they don't like people setting up boundaries. Because people are telling them, this behavior is unacceptable and I don't want you to do such and such, which is fine, which is healthy. We're all human beings. We all should respect one another and honor each other in what we want. I do understand that this can be taken way too far, just like anything can be taken to extremes. And then people are setting boundaries in ways that are not really helping the situation. They're making them kind of more worse for their relationships. But if the motive of your heart in setting boundaries is really to safeguard yourself and also to have healthy relationships, it should be okay to set boundaries. It should be okay. If you meet somebody and you place boundaries in that relationship for any reason because you want to be treated well and they don't respect your boundaries and they even say, I don't like boundaries, to me it's a red flag. It's a huge red flag. Either they just don't understand the need for them. I said before, they've never been hurt in their life, or boundaries keep them from behaving the way they want to freely behave and they don't want someone to tell them no. Well, that's just not how it works in the world that we live in and in the way that I feel like God desires for this. We all have free will. We all have freedom of choice. And if I don't like to be treated a certain way, I'm going to put a boundary up. Whether I say it verbally or I put the boundary up non-verbally, because there's different ways you can put up boundaries. And if that other person doesn't accept the boundary that I place before them, then that's going to mean that they have consequences within the relationship that I have with them. The consequences can be anything. And that's because we need to respect each other. We need to love each other, but we need to respect each other. So when someone says they don't like boundaries, they're really saying they don't want to respect other people and how other people want to be treated or not treated. So yeah, a lot of people that I've met that are okay with boundaries, they've experienced hurt in their lives. They've experienced what it feels like to not be respected and to be mistreated, to be controlled, to be manipulated. If somebody says they don't like boundaries, be really careful around them. There's a reason why they don't like boundaries. They want to behave any way that they feel like they can behave. They want to treat people any way that they feel like they can treat people. Again, I just feel like it's a lack of respect and honoring other people and a lack of honoring any relationship that you do have. If somebody came to me and set a boundary with me and I didn't understand why, I would definitely ask, why are you setting this boundary? Because some people do go really far with setting boundaries. I'm not saying that, some people are just so guarded that their boundary setting is pretty rigid, but that's the place that they are at in life, and I have to respect that. So if I text somebody too much and it overwhelms them, and they tell me, can you only text me a certain amount of time in the week? Of course I'm going to respect that boundary. I'm going to respect them and where they are at in their life. Because I don't know, or maybe I do know what they are going through. Maybe they need more healing. Maybe things are triggering them and my behavior is triggering them. So I'm not trying to. But if it is, I've got to be understanding. I've got to take a step back and honor what they placed before me. And again, there are people who take advantage of boundaries because if their heart is in the wrong place and they're using boundary setting to manipulate and control the relationships in their lives, it's not going to get very far because it's just going to harm their relationships. So yeah, it could be taken too far. I totally get that. Just like anything else can be taken way too far. But just throwing out boundaries altogether because you just don't like boundaries, that to me is very, very scary. People want to feel safe in relationships. And if you're going around saying that boundaries are not important or they're not something that are beneficial to you, you're going to make yourself sound like you're not a safe person and that you just live without boundaries. You let anybody do whatever they want to do and you do whatever you want to do. For some people, that makes them feel very unsafe, especially if they've come out of a very difficult, hard relationship or an abusive relationship. So we have to just kind of try to be more understanding of why people do the things that they do. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes people are hurt and so they set really rigid boundaries. And it could be a trauma response. And that's something that they have to work on in their own life and in their own heart. And that's going to be a growing process. But even if I know them setting a boundary with me is a trauma response that they're giving out, I'm still going to respect what they say. I'm still going to respect what they will accept as behavior or not accept as behavior. Boundaries are good. They're not bad. They can be abused. They can be used to just build walls around us, but they can be used in healthy ways to really protect and safeguard our well-being, and that's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. If you don't know how to set boundaries, that's something I could do a video on, and I would love to share more information about this. So let me know in the comments if you want to hear more about boundary setting, and be okay with boundaries. Be okay with boundaries. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.